There's a motion to nominate Bonnie Duffy as chairperson. Is there a second?
I'll second.
By, who seconded it?
I will.
Okay, by Mike Ralston. Are there any other nominations for chairperson? Hearing none, all those in favor of electing Bonnie Duffy as chairperson say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Okay, Bonnie Duffy has been elected as chairperson. So I'll go through with, we'll continue on with the vice chair. So is there a motion for vice chair?
Becky Randall.
Doug Odie made a motion to,
Second for Becky.
for Becky Barth. Any other nominations to come forth? Hearing none, all those in favor of Becky Randall as vice chair say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. And Becky Randall's elected then as vice chair. So that being the, now we have a chair and vice chair, I'll turn the meeting over to Bonnie Duffy and we'll start the meeting for the joint city of Del Rapids and county. Thanks.
I call to order this regular joint meeting of the Minnehaha County and Del Rapids Planning Commission, and I'm going to begin with a few introductory comments. The two planning commissions work together on land use and zoning matters within the rural areas surrounding the city. This area is displayed on the screen. After information and testimony is presented on an agenda item, the members will discuss the matter, and then each planning commission will vote independently to arrive at a decision. Any final action taken on the conditional use permit applications tonight will take effect 5 working days following this meeting unless a written appeal of the Planning Commission's decision is filed in the Planning Office by Monday, February 4th, 2019 at 5 p.m. In the event of an appeal, the decision will be referred to the County Commission for a hearing on Tuesday, February 19th, 2019, on or after 9 a.m. The affected parties will be notified of the meeting date, and the meetings of the County Commission are held in this same room. The first item on the agenda is public input. Is there anyone here who wishes to speak to an item that is not on the agenda? Sir, you want to come forward? You have to come forward to the podium. And you're allowed 5 minutes to speak.
Well, I'll try to get done in that amount of time. We do have a lot of issues. We were wondering if a traffic safety study has been done yet on the Slip Up Creek Road and 477th Avenue.
Item on the agenda.
Yes, sir, that is
There'll be a time for that
Oh,
item.
I'm sorry, I must have
This
missed.
is for things not on the.
not on the
Not
agenda.
on the agenda, I'm sorry.
Okay? Okay, we'll move on. At this time, the Planning Commission will consider the consent agenda. Items on the consent agenda are perceived to be non-controversial and meet all of the requirements of the codes and regulations. The consent agenda will be acted on in one motion with no public hearing on the items unless a member of the public, the commission, or staff requests the item be removed from the consent agenda. At this time, the minutes from the September 24th, 2018 meeting are included in the consent agenda. Does any planning commission member wish to have an item removed from this discussion? Okay, next I will read each item on the consent agenda and ask if there are any issues or comments from the staff or the audience. If any member of the staff or the audience would like to be heard on the item, please raise your hand, and that item will be removed and put on the regular agenda to allow you to address the commission later in the meeting. Any of the other items remaining on the consent agenda will be approved by the Planning Commission if there are any conditions recommended by the staff. Okay, the only other item, item number 1, the approval of the minutes of the September 24th, 2018 meeting. Item number 2 is a conditional use permit 19-02 to allow outdoor storage and sales of materials on the property legally described as Lot 1, Block 1, Dell Rapids Industrial Park Edition, Southeast Quarter, Section 12, Township 104 North, and 50 West. The petitioner is Ed Wolls. Petitioner, he's also the property owner. This is already located at southeast corner of Lindy Avenue and Industrial Street. Intersection is located approximately 2 miles west of Dell Rapids. Is there anyone here that wants this removed from this consent agenda so that it can be moved to the regular?
Yes.
Okay, item number 2 will be removed, changed to the regular agenda. So the only other item on the consent agenda is approval of the minutes of September 24th, 2018.
Move approval.
Second.
All those in favors?
Aye.
Oppose? Motion passes on the county side. It's also passed on the Dell Rapids Planning Commission. Okay. Kevin?
Good evening, Kevin Hookman from County Planning Department. As you were just read, conditional use permit number 1902 is to allow outdoor storage of sales materials on the property as described. The subject property is located in the Dell Rapids Interstate exit off of I-29 as shown on the map. There is an industrial park there along Highway 115. The petitioner, as described, wants outdoor storage and sales of bulk materials. And the materials have been placed there primarily for personal purposes, and he plans on selling some of it as people might need some, and he has more than what he needs for himself. This item has been brought to the county staff or attention, as it was the items were stored there and they remained there without any permitting. And you'll note that after this staff report was written, you were all given a couple of letters that were received from neighboring property owners regarding this. So considering that, when we work through the staff report and consider the regular condition or the permit review for a conditional use permit. Then number 1, the effect upon the use and enjoyment of the property in the surrounding area for uses already permitted upon property values within the surrounding area. This is an industrial park that has retail and service businesses. The use of this property is ultimately an industrial type use, and will have loading of trucks from time to time, which will be similar to the other uses in the area. Number 2, the effect upon the normal and orderly development and improvement in the surrounding vacant properties for uses predominant in the area. This use is likely going to be there only until a better use, say somebody buys a property and a building goes up. So it's likely not going to be a long-term use for the property until the pile is gone, since the pile was there from the road construction nearby, and it's no new materials are being stored on the property as of right now. The utility access roads, drainage, or other necessary facilities are provided. The road that goes past this property is paved, and the site will not need any utilities for the purpose. Off-street parking and loading requirements are met. There's loading space on the property, and there will not need any parking for the use other than for the person operating the vehicles for just the time being. The measures are taken to control offensive odors, fumes, dust, noise, vibration, and lighting, included of lighted signs, so that none of these will constitute a nuisance. This use, staff must note that it should have little potential ability to create nuisances, but as you note in the letters that you received, there is concern about weeds, and there is concern about visual nuisance of the property as well. I did note in the staff report that typically outdoor storage is screened with a privacy fence, but with the size of the pile of materials there, screening would do little good. And I do suggest that there is some sort of a method to contain silt from running off the property as it rains, so to keep it on the property that it's on and not running onto the neighboring properties. And number 6, health, safety, general welfare of the public and the comprehensive plan. As noticed previously, this is a developed industrial zoning district near the interstate exit, and something that requires trucks and materials is something that may be expected in an industrial park. And it does not negatively affect the health, safety, or general welfare of the public. Staff does recommend approval of conditional use permit number 1902 with conditions. Before I go through the conditions, I will go through the pictures here real quick. This is the pile. It's covered in snow in this picture. You can see from the surrounding properties, it is pretty tall. The two property owners that presented letters are right here and then right here in this building. There's the property line towards the highway looking to the east. There's the property line looking south from Industrial Street. Looking east on Industrial Street. Looking west towards the vet clinic. And then there's a picture across the street to the Dell's Diesel. I'll leave it on that. The conditions staff is recommending include number 1, the permit is for bulk material storage in gravel, stones, crushed asphalt, and crushed concrete and similar materials only. Number 2, no hazardous materials, litter, rubbish, garbage, equipment, vehicles, parts, manufactured items, or similar materials may be stored on the site. Number 3, a silt fence or other approved erosion control must be installed east of the material storage. The erosion control device must be maintained in working condition at all times that the material is stored on the property. And number 4, that the Planning and Zoning Department reserves the right to enter and inspect the site after proper notice to the owner to ensure the property is in full compliance with the conditional use permit conditions of approval and the Minnehaha County zoning ordinance. This time I can take any questions.
Kevin, would you add that recommendation for no dumping signage?
You could. Yeah, if you wanted to add no dumping signage, that would be something that you could do as well.
Is this an ongoing thing? Once this pile is done, can they haul in more and keep doing this?
As it is written currently, yes, you can. I don't know if that's his intent, and perhaps the petitioner is here to talk to that.
Can the height of the piles be restricted too?
Yes, they could.
Keep it at a certain level, or?
Yeah, and there is some space there to pull the pile down if that's the case.
Any other questions for Kevin? Is the petitioner here? Will you please come forward, state your name and address?
Yeah, I'm Ed Wallace, and I don't know the address from Dell Rapids.
Any of you have any questions for the petitioner?
Do you plan on using this kind of as a long-term thing, or?
Not at this time,
No.
but who knows? But I have no intention of. There was a one-time road construction deal, as far as I know, so.
No, wait a minute, Ed. When you're done, got rid of this pile,
Yep.
are you gonna bring in more? If
Not that I know of.
But if the opportunity arose, it'd probably again.
It's possible, yeah. Unless there's a problem with that.
Madam Chair, So are other people dumping stuff there?
No, definitely not. Mm-mm. It's just,
So there's not like kitchen sinks
oh
showing up?
no, nope, it's just asphalt millings and gravel fill, so. Yep,
Sir, are you aware of the conditions that
I am.
counties put? Okay.
Yep, they sound good.
Okay.
Mhm.
If we added restrictions for keeping the weeds down and keeping the height of the pile a little lower, would that be a problem?
That should be fine. Mhm.
How much more materials could be added to that existing pile?
You know, that depends on the height restriction, I guess, but
Or like lengthwise, widthwise, how much more?
it's probably 3/4 of the way
per length?
filling the area that it takes up, so. Mhm.
Any other questions?
So right now, based on what you had said with the conditional use, the loading or unloading, I guess, of the pile all has to occur on the property, so he's limited by the size to be able, he can't do it from the road, load the pile from the road.
Yeah, and there's good space for that there right now. Mhm.
But adding would affect that, so.
Right. Yeah, about 25% more, it sounds like.
Mhm.
Okay, any other questions for petitioner? Okay, thank you. Anyone here in the audience wish to address this? Okay, commissioners? Please state your name and your address, please.
Daryl Springman, Dell's Diesel Service, 47176 Industrial Street, Dell Rapids, South Dakota. I have a copy of the original covenants of the development park, and it states in that covenants that there will be no auto wrecking or salvage yards, used material yards, storage or baling of waste or scrap paper, rags, scrap metals, bottles, or junk, except as they may become necessary as the incident of residential uses provided. However, that quarters may be maintained for watchmen, guards, or similar personnel. Asphalt plants, packing, or slaughtering yards. No outdoor fires or burning barrels of scrap or garbage. Exceptions may be outdoor cookouts or picnics. I guess my question is, he obviously didn't have this, and the pile of asphalt was put up before he got the conditional use permit. I started my business in '98, and I wasn't allowed a business until I got the conditional use permit. Is that correct?
I think that's the way it's supposed to be.
If he's gonna use it for resale, shouldn't he have a conditional permit first?
Scott, you have any comment on that?
It's my understanding, he paid a penalty for starting his business, before getting the conditional use permit.
Thank you.
It's kind of an eyesore. 2 years ago, there were round bales piled up on there. Weeds growing around them. The lots were designed for buildings, for businesses to employ people, for jobs. Got to say.
Thank you. Have any questions for him?
So,
Madam Chair.
so if you were to clear it off, come back and make the application again, what would the objections be?
Well, I would say that it would have to be what the original covenants states, is that when someone bought a piece of property in this development industrial park, they had so many years to actually put up a building and employ people. There's several lots in this area that people put up buildings, use them for storage, and some of them never put up buildings at all. If they didn't put up a building within 2 years, they had to forfeit it, put it up for sale if someone was interested in it for a percentage less than what they paid for it. Now somehow, some way, the covenants got, I think I'm the only one that has a set of covenants, because I was the original owner out there.
And those were recorded, is that correct?
Yes. Somehow, some way, the covenants got lost, except for this copy, I think.
Yeah. And whoever was supposed to enforce it let it slide and forgot about it.
Jeff, did you have a comment?
Yeah, I was gonna ask, Daryl, so other than just removing all of the, material, is there, a interim, solution that would help things for you? I mean, if there was a date certain in the future that it had to be gone, is that what you would like, or?
Well, I would say just as long as Ed gets it moved off of there within a reasonable time, yeah. But I don't think it's necessary to have piles of asphalt in a industrial park.
It just came into existence because of the highway construction stuff, didn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Is that done yet? I can't even get to Dell Rapids.
You can.
Not quite.
Any other questions for him? Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome.
Anyone else in the audience? Okay, I'm gonna close the floor. Any comments on the county side?
This was just gonna be until you get rid of this stuff, but this can go
Do we
on
want
forever.
the proponent to come back?
Can you, we can put a limit on it, can't we, or not?
Quick question for Scott, if we could.
Sure, go ahead.
What's our,
Can we put a time limit
I
on
would
it?
say, realm of jurisdiction in enforcing covenants? Does the county have jurisdiction to do that or not?
We don't enforce covenants. That's still a matter between the parties in a.
Development,
area.
okay. Just wanted to make sure.
Scott, I had a question also. Can we put a time limit on this?
You can sunset
So that
clause.
by September 1, he's got to have it all cleared off again? And then that's the end of it? I mean, he'd have to come back to apply to put anything back on there again?
If you put a sunset clause with a date that it has to be gone by, you could always apply for an amendment, a conditional use permit amendment, a conditional use permit amendment, but then that would come back before you,
Sure.
and you could ask for an extension through that process.
Okay. And objections could still be made at that time, obviously, to them, sure.
That's what we better do.
Could the timeframe, Scott, be 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, whatever?
Anything that you want. If, you can put the condition on there, and if the applicant is unhappy with that, he always can appeal your decision to the joint city-county commissions, or, joint city-county, city-council, county commission. But you may wanna ask him what, if a year would be satisfactory, or 2 years, or
Ed?
6 months.
You wanna come forward, please? Come forward to the podium again,
A
please.
little shorter, doesn't it?
I don't know, I mean, it's interesting to keep putting stuff there.
You know, 3 or 4 years would be much more ideal. Hope it's gone before then, but, you know, September isn't very much time, so. It'll be a lot smaller by then, but maybe not gone,
Okay.
so.
Joyce plan on using part of this?
We're both using it, yep, yep, yep. Yeah, and we've already used 15% of it probably.
July 1 of next year?
Del Rapids Commission, are you going to be adding another condition? With a date?
Yes, we would be.
Okay.
Yep. So what do you think? From like February 1st? Okay.
Madam Chair, we would put a recommendation of February 1st, 2021.
But the materials would have to be cleared off and gone.
It's not 3 Ed, but it's better than September.
Madam Chair, question for the
Jeff?
Del Rapids folks. Did you guys want to
Correct.
have
Right.
no dumping signs? Did you want to have spray the weeds or?
Well, I would think that should be in there too, that, yeah, he would have to spray for noxious weeds. That's just kinda good neighbor.
And no adding to it.
Well, the no dumping side should pretty much tell him that he shouldn't dump anything any further there then.
I think it's dumping, other people dumping stuff.
Yeah, okay.
So,
Okay,
I'd second that.
county side, are you willing to go along with those conditions?
So we're adding conditions 5, 6, and 7, is that right? Say 5, no dumping signs, 6, spray weeds, 7, end by February 1st, 2021, is that the plan?
Good.
I would, on the county side, make a motion to add those conditions and approve it. Well, let's make add the conditions and then we'll talk about approving it. I would move adding those 3 conditions, 5, 6, and 7.
I'll second.
Add those conditions on there.
Any discussion about all that? Are you okay with that now?
In favor?
Okay. Someone want to make a motion now?
I guess I thought I did, but I'll make that motion
Okay.
if you didn't think I did.
A second?
I'll second it.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye. So then, Madam Chair, do we need to approve the whole thing then?
Okay.
Is that it?
Okay, on the regular agenda, there's no old business and no new business. I need a motion to adjourn.
Move adjournment for the joint commission meeting.
Correct. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
We've done the same.
Gentlemen?
So Justin, you can get through driving there?